Hey guys, as you can see, every compartment is open on Gus. We're fixing to do a full video walkthrough, top to bottom, inside and out. Let's get to it. Alright guys, this is going to be definitely a longer video. I'm going to put chapters in there if y'all want to skip forward if stuff you've seen, anything like that. So let's get into it. First off, I want to address how we operate our door. We actually have this line coming from an auxiliary air compressor, which plugs into this. If guys, if y'all don't know, from an H series coach, if you need to air up the airbags, the auxiliary accessory air, that's how you do it. There's a drain here and here. This line goes into the air compressor that's in this next bay. So that is our auxiliary air compressor. It's kind of in a temporary situation. It's just a super quiet. I mean, you literally can barely hear it running, if at all. Trying to cut down on the vibrations. You mainly hear the vibrations, but that is our storage bay. Next, you have our air mini split, the outdoor unit for the air conditioner. And for right now, we just opened the cargo bay. I'm looking at entertainers coaches whenever I'm working my job, and they'll be stayed at a hotel, and they've got the cargo bay up. So it's like, okay, and it's really super quiet. Next, we got the oh crap bay, or well, junk. Basically anything, caulk, screws, tools, just different things like that we have going in this bay. And also the inside unit for HVAC, and all of that is in another video if you want to reference that. How I did the HVAC. I would love to do a longer form video. If y'all want to comment, like and subscribe. Let me know what y'all want to see. So this next compartment, that is the over the road air. So that is the blower for it basically. And the filter is actually behind that for the return. And so the next cargo bay we have is the wet bay. So we've got two 75-gallon and 100-gallon tanks. We have our shore power and water and sewer. Yep, so that's that. Let's roll on back here. So this is what the rear electrical junction looks like in an H series coach. So a lot of things, if y'all want, like I said, if you want to reference this, I'm going to put chapters in here. Also, diesel cooler. So you see that nice pretty blue line, that was a royal pain in the tail, but I had to, it's the return line going from the motor through the diesel cooler back to the fuel tank, and had to replace that line. That was quite fun and challenging. So here's the motor, and 60 series Detroit 12.7. Like I said, got an H series. A lot of coaches that year model came with that. I did remove all the sewer and septic stuff. That's one place I thought about putting the auxiliary air compressor, but that just didn't really work out. So I know everybody's probably seen a battery bay, but we're gonna go through it anyway. Like I said, I'm pulling everything. That is, our coach has a battery charger, battery equalizer, the battery switches. There is a little short of my 7-year-old cranking the coach up. That was fun. So here is the back side of the wet bay. As you can see, some of the plumbing, but also oil. We had a radiator hose bust one time, you know, extra parts and pieces and stuff like that. Tools, big boy tools, pry bar, you name it. Anything we may think we may need. So that's the condenser, and some of you HVAC guys may correct me on which is which, but if you are going to take all this out, or if you're going to or when you disconnect the overhead bins, because they have HVAC in them, You actually have to, there's two 17mm bolts, pull that off, the whole thing swings out. Behind that is a shutoff valve for that. If you will look at Destination Unknown, their conversion process, he explains exactly how to do that. Thank the Lord for him in that video. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because there's a lot of things that, tips and tricks that I caught from, watching all these YouTubes, just different people. Got the main breaker panel for the coach down here, inverter, converter. We did a little different setup than some. A lot of people run it through the inverter, and this was just the way that made sense to me, and it was the easiest, simplest, and most cost-effective way to do. And speaking of cost-effective way, there's also going to be a video at some point of how much it cost us to build this coach out. And I will say, I've seen some numbers from different Skoolie conversions, and I mean, I don't know what the total is, but I can tell you, I may give it a little bit away, but sub 15. Don't know really where we're at, but yeah. So let's get into it, and let's go on the inside. Flip some lights on in here and see what's going on. All right, as promised, we got the lights on. Let's do a full nook and cranny. I mean everything. So looking at the driver control, which obviously is my favorite part. I'll probably do another video here just explaining every button, but you have your driver controls, my favorite, which is right there, Jake brake, two-stage Jake on it. It's great, love it. Just saves your brakes. And then got to do some work on the electronics as far as the radio and stuff like that. Some of that's disconnected. I didn't show you, but downstairs basically we disconnected the actual media player side of things. So yeah, so one thing we did save, not trying to make y'all drunk with this video here, is in here we kept this, and it's basically become a shoe bin. This is right inside the door. People can stick their shoes, and then that way we still wind up with 20 shoes up front, but that's still solution for some. We did put, so we got this little air conditioning cup holder thing going on here, flip up table, so that worked out well. And eventually I will put some Amazon links once we get some stuff. Y'all would love to I would love for y'all to like and subscribe. That would help me get going with some of that. It's got a little cabinet there. Flip around here, you got another vent, cup holder, electrical outlet. Then you got some under storage right here. If you can look at the HVAC videos. I do pull those apart and kind of show you. Like I said, I would love to do a more full video on that. One area that I've got to actually finish up is this is the stock, plastic with the lights and stuff like that, which is really cool because when the door opens up, you got the lights. I like the look, but I want to put a TV and do some of that up there. But we'll see about that. That will cross that bridge when we get there. So going into the kitchen, here's the other couch, just storage. Put a little carpet down there. And speaking of the cost, the beautiful thing is, shout out to my buddy Eric, gave me these cabinets. He said, hey man, I got extra cabinets. Would you like them? Yes, 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 yes. So got junk and more junk. And as you can see, we had to cut the back of these cabinets to actually get them fitted in here with the existing bus chase, which I will plug again, which is another video if you want to go look at it, how we manage the over-the-road air, and then also HVAC, with the mini split and all that. So to continue the tour with that, you've got drawers, But the reason why I'm pulling out these drawers is this bottom one is actually a dummy drawer because, and I've still got to get it to look a little better. Some of these finishing touches we just have not dealt with, but because of the HVAC, um, we had to, cut out the back of the, actually, yeah, because of the HVAC, we had to cut out the back of that drawer. So there's our stove, 2-burner stove, works great. Haven't really had any issues out of it. Over here, we have nice large pantry style cabinet. So we got these push button latches, which is great. Sorry about the crackling, but so there is the inside of our pantry. Yeah, guys, we could finish some of this stuff up and put it, paint it or do some different stuff. But right now, let's just we got it usable. I had a deadline for a vacation in May, so from September to middle of September to May, we knocked this thing out. Working the weekends, working a full-time job, and from demo to full out conversion, we're to a point where we're happy. We can use it. We've went on big trips. We're going to make some more. So with the HVAC, you see how the lights coming in? These are actually the returns, and then there's also, you can't really see it, but I have cut out some holes down there. Letting y'all in on all the secrets. Cut some holes out there for returns as well, because that was the one thing my father-in-law, being an HVAC guy, said, got to get more returns in here. So the challenging one, getting the correct fridge. Now that's a residential style fridge, but because of the HVAC, and if you go back to the video talking about all of the stuff you've got to have or got to plan, the biggest thing is planning around that HVAC. So everything I needed was 28 inches, I believe is the number, 28, 29 inches, even down to the bedding we chose. We actually looked at Rainy Trucks Center. It's where my dad got some his beds for his buses, or his last bus. And let's see here. Yep, that's the. We made everything around that 29 by 76, I believe, whatever the most narrow, longest one we could get. And the reason is because we wanted to, with a non-slide coach, we wanted as much room in this hallway. And my wife, and even people that, lived on the road camping, and some friends of ours and stuff like that, they're like, man, it does not feel like a non-slide coach. It's really roomy. And the reason why is because my aim above everything was to keep that width as low as possible, or as small as possible. So storage under here. Now, right here, that's an AC vent. We got, like I said, got some trimming up to do. It's another AC vent. That is a mini split vent. That is the bus air vent. Same thing, more storage. Now this one gets a little tricky. Storage, but it's also has some HVAC lines. So the kids got to be careful with that. Now, in the words of my pastor, tell the truth, shame the devil. We've got to do a little trimming. We got some stuff. None of those are live wires. They are hooked up, but they are not turned on at all. So, but, ooh, yeah, like I said, none of those wires are live at all. They're just ran. But, nonetheless, so those were the kids' closets. There's 4 of them. We got 4 kids. So check this out. This strap, got it off Amazon. Like I said, I'm going to make some videos, probably put some affiliate links at some point. But that one works fine. This one, without the pool noodle, would actually pop open driving down the road. So very, very annoying. So we just did that. So toilet. So you see the little ledge back there and all that? That's literally to hide the HVAC and some of the plumbing. So like I said, this is literally an every nook and cranny video. We got the PEX line and the drain. I'm sure if you're a plumber, you probably call me out on something. That's okay. Got the shower, got all that. Talk about this, and I did talk about it in the HVAC video, so I keep going back to that because I really did a little longer video because people were very intrigued by that. So that's a cabinet we have not painted yet, and it is just a toiletries type cabinet, but I had to rig it so that I could get the return for the bus air going. So that's return for the bus air, one of the returns. The other one's underneath the couch if you look at the HVAC video. So this is our bedroom. Let's go in there. So AC vent. So the bottom cabinet is a dummy cabinet. It's nothing. I put a little foam there. Anything I can find to stick underneath this bed or in back here to cut that motor noise. There's my closet. Watched a video last night talking about his and her side of the bed. Well, that is the thing. We've been married for more than 5 minutes. We've been married for 20 years almost. Well, 20 in April. And so this is my wife's side of the bed, and her cabinet is actually usable cabinet. And so we do have underbed storage, but to be perfectly honest with you, I totally made the bed with too much overkill, and it is heavy, 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 heavy. The reason why that side is actually shut off, if you will look at the demo part of the video originally, there is the intake for the motor. So that's why that is like that. And so, hey y'all, like, comment, and let me know what y'all think about this video, what I can do different, what y'all want to see, because I'm sure that I've had questions. People ask me stuff all the time. So let's do this. I would love to just get some commentary and love to just really chat with you guys and talk about bus conversions. And like I said, I've done this one, but my dad's done 2, and just things y'all would like to see in the future. And I've got a bunch of videos to make. Hopefully next weekend we will be taking what I'm nicknaming now Little Gus camping with us. And so we'll probably go do a little video about Cruel Lake up in Munson, Blackwater State Forest. And so like and subscribe. Would love to hear from y'all. And until next time, this is the full walkthrough video.